What's up, guys? Presley Lannom. We're going to be talking about swim baits. So, for fishing a swim bait, it really depends on how big your swim bait is, and that goes for just about any bait. It all depends on the size. So this is only a 3-inch swim bait, so we don't really need a giant rod with some giant line, but all we've got here is a medium action rod with a fast tip, and the faster the tip, the stiffer the rod is, but since it's a medium, it's not going to be a super stiff rod. So it's going to be right there perfect for a 3-inch swim bait. And moving on to the reel, this is a 6:4-to-1 reel. It's a slower gear ratio, so you can really keep that bait down in the water column where the fish are going to be. But even if some fish are schooling, they're chasing bait, you can just hold your rod tip up and reel faster, and that'll move the bait up and down in the water column. So on this reel, we're going to be running a 6:4-to-1 gear ratio, and it's a little bit slower of a gear ratio, but perfect for swim baits because it's a slower retrieve and really just helps the swim bait stay down in the water column. And some key components on this reel is the drag. And the drag helps when you're fighting the fish and the fish is surging and pulling right when you get it to the boat. It's going to allow that fish to pull line out and keeping pressure on the hook but not putting too much pressure. What we're going for line choice is 12-pound Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon. And fluorocarbon is definitely the best choice because you get strength, no stretch, better hookups. Everything is better about fluorocarbon when swim bait fishing. Fishing this swim bait, you can fish it on rocks, on docks. You can fish it around wood. Bridge pilings is a really good swim bait spot because a lot of bait gather around it. And this just is a really good shad imitator. It looks like a little bait fish coming through the water. On this Apex Tackle Deaver swim bait head, what we've got here is this is called a keeper. So this goes through the swim bait and latches back onto the hook, and that really keeps the swim bait up on the head and makes it hard to pull that swim bait down and prevents ripping in your swim bait and really just helps keep that swim bait up on the hook. So this swim bait head is a 1/4 ounce, so that's fairly light when you're swim bait fishing, but it's a really good size for when the fish are a little bit more finicky and you can throw that smaller 3-inch profile swim bait on it. And this has a really sharp hook. It's a little bit smaller of a hook in diameter, so it really helps penetration into the fish's mouth and gets a good hookup ratio. Perfect example of some springtime swim baiting. Got a nice, not a big one, but it's a nice little fish on that 3-inch driftwood swim bait with the 1/4 ounce Apex Tackle Chad Deaver swim bait head. Let's get this guy back in the water so another person can catch him another day. You can see that there's not one tear in that swim bait, and that's thanks to that keeper on that swim bait head. And that's really awesome about this head, and it'll really save your baits out on the water. So where we just caught those fish at is a prime example of what we call a transition point. And on the bank, it looks like it's all solid rock. But what you don't see is under the water, the rock actually stops right here. And it's a lot more scattered. So it goes from this thick rock that are all bundled up and all bundled up together. But we caught those fish right here where that transition point is, where it goes from smoother bottom right to that thick chunk rock.